Good evening, and thank you so much for joining us for this Fireside chat. My name is Micah Woodfield. I'm the Georgia State Director with 9 to 5, National Association of Working Women. And tonight we're going to have a great fireside discussion with our members, our member leaders, and our staff as well. And so we're really excited about this opportunity. As I mentioned before, if you don't know, 9 to 5, we're a member-based, grassroots-led organization working on the front lines for working women for almost 50 years now. This is actually our 50th year, so woo. And just to tell you a little bit more about who we are at 9 to 5, specifically our Georgia chapter. Our chapter's movement is based in economic justice here in Georgia, and we work to address issues like pay equity. And just a few weeks ago, we know it was Black Women's Equal Pay Day. And so those are opportunities for us to increase the message around equal pay for all women, workplace discrimination and harassment, as well as work-family balance and civic engagement. And we'll hear a lot about civic engagement and the importance of voting this evening. At 9 to 5, we believe that organizing collectively through a grassroots model, that through that we can build long-lasting power and transform our world. We also believe that when women and families thrive, our communities thrive. And that is our goal, to put working women's issues at the forefront. And I'm inspired every single day by the work that we do here. We do this work through what I call our 3 pillars, which is community organizing. That is like at the core of who we are and how we started this work. That looks like our worker justice campaigns, which are paid fellowships for community members to truly be able to learn organizing skills and come in and understand what it takes to make real change in their communities. You might find us door knocking on issues, answer the door, or phone banking, or sending text messages around our issues, around voting, because we know that real people power is in the people that we build with every day. We also do this through education and empowerment. That looks like our workshops on organizing skills, on salary negotiation. It looks like our popular education about civic engagement. It looks like building up our members to be able to tell their stories, their lived experience about the issues they faced in the workplace or in their communities. And we support our members in sharing their experiences and doing the work in their community that matters the most. And finally, through people-centered policy and advocacy. And I say people-centered because we know a lot of policies that are in place do not center the people that matter the most. Our Georgia economy is fueled by working families, people like me, people like you that do this work. And so we want policy solutions that are meant for them. And that's what we do at 9 to 5. We're fighting for policy solutions for our communities to make sure there are structural changes that have a lasting impact. And we know that doesn't happen overnight. Our chapter convenes the Georgia Coalition for Paid Leave. And we are a multi-member organization. The coalition, rather, is a multi-member organization fighting for workers to have paid leave in our state. We also convene the Respect Georgia Workers Alliance, which is another coalition, a multi-member coalition, as well as people that have had the experience of being disrespected in their workplaces, that have had experiences of sexual harassment or workplace discrimination. We're on the front lines fighting for those that have had that experience. We're working with legislators on bills that address pay equity, on bills that address, as I mentioned before, workplace harassment, as well as expanding paid leave. The legislative session will be starting soon, and we want you to stay up to date. So if you aren't already, please join our Action Network links as well as our email base, and you'll get more information about that later. And then finally, we've been also building around childcare. We've been building a campaign for not only parents, but also providers, because we know we need structural changes around childcare, and working families do not exist without adequate, accessible, and sustainable childcare. So tonight, enough about 9 to 5. Tonight, we're going to have a wonderful chat. But before that, I want to share with you some data. And this data, I'm really excited to give you a preview of this survey data. But a couple caveats before I dig in. These findings are not yet publicly available. We are working so hard to get them publicly available, but they are not there yet. But they will be shortly. So because of that, if you can refrain from retweeting or sharing them at this moment, but please do feel free to share your motivations, your stories, your connection to this very important matter around these midterm elections, excuse me, and what's at stake. We'll be releasing an official report soon, and at that time, share away. So now that we're friends and you know who I am, and hopefully I'll know a little bit more about 9 to 5, our polling results, we partner with the National Women's Law Center, one of our close friends in this movement, to share an online survey, also with Vision, Strategy, and Insight, a national woman of color-owned marketing and research firm, to get these results. The goal was to identify gaps between Georgia's Black working women voters and our lawmakers. We wanted to draw a more dynamic picture of any disproportionate impacts in our state, and the survey encompassed a total of 505 online interviews. And we oversampled Black working women voters. And you can see there on the screen a breakdown of everyone involved in the online surveys. So for the sake of this conversation, I've pulled a few key findings from the polling results to share here with you. Regarding the impact of their votes, Black women voters were less likely to believe that their vote, whether at the federal, state, or local level, impacted how the country, their state, or their community was governed than their white counterparts. Overall, Black women voters did not feel that their elected officials or political candidates at the local, state, or federal level are particularly visible in their communities. They don't believe that they listen to their concerns or work to address issues most important to them as voters. And that's particularly disheartening to hear. We know, though, across the board, local elected officials and candidates, based on the survey, are rated slightly higher than their state or federal counterparts. Then when we dig into issue areas, when asked openly to name the one issue that keeps them up at night, Black women voters were predominantly preoccupied with inflation. I think all of us are at this point. The cost of living and abortion rights. Those were the top 3 issues. Associated issues included the rising cost of gas, food, housing, and a note for gas, this happened over the summer when gas prices were particularly through the roof, but I think we all still share that concern. As well as the economy, jobs, and low wages. Racism was also noted as a key issue among this group. When asked to select from a list of issues, Black women voters prioritize meeting basic needs of themselves and their families, expanding protections against harassment and discrimination in the workplace, and creating better jobs and wages for all. These issues, as well as gun safety, were key drivers in motivators for these women voters. And then in terms of the economy and affording basic needs, a majority of Black women voters experienced at least one economic hardship in the past year. The most pressing of these included having difficulty paying bills, affording transportation, food, and so on. So we can certainly understand why these were top issues for them in the survey results. More Black women reported difficulties finding and affording childcare than their white counterparts, and many reported hardships such as working fewer hours because of a lack of childcare and being unable to afford childcare altogether. We know when you do not have adequate childcare, there's an opportunity to miss work or be able to show up for yourself, be able to pay your bills. And this is what many of the Black women voters experience. Next, I want to share a little bit about their satisfaction with elected officials, both at the local, state, or federal level among Black women voters. Many rated their elected officials quite negatively when it comes to securing education funding or protecting access to reproductive health care. And I know many of you that are tuned in with us may have had some of these same experiences. And we would love to hear from you in the chat to see if any of that resonates with you. We'll also sit down a little bit later and with our member leaders during this fireside discussion to learn what's important to them and to see if any of these polling results also resonated with them as well. So I don't want to stand too much in the way of our fireside discussion. So leading our discussion this evening will be Jewel Howard. Jewel, I have an amazing pleasure of working with every day. Jewel is our civic engagement manager here at 9 to 5. She coordinates all of our voter registration and get out the vote work. And when I tell you that is a feat in itself, it is. So it's certainly a pleasure to have Jewel conduct this conversation with us tonight because she knows how important it is to do this work and how difficult it is to get folks out to those polls. So, Jewel, thank you.
Thank you so much, Micah. Again, Micah, thank you so much for that and those giving those polls results. But I want to be the one to introduce our artist for tonight, Marie Dull. Marie Dull is a Filipino-American illustrator, a printmaker, and bookmaker from Florida. Alongside her artwork making practices, she has served in AmeriCorps, worked as a family case manager. This is Marie, you all, and offered emotional support services and mental health advocacy as a warm line counselor. Now, Marie will be creating a visual art during our fireside chat, and we will have a chance to view her artistry and inspiration after our discussion. Thank you, Marie, for being here. Y'all don't want to miss this. Hey, let's get ready for this fireside chat. I have a wonderful group of women here to discuss what's going on with Black women in voting. You all heard some of the statistics that Micah gave us earlier. So what I would like to do first is introduce you to this wonderful panel. And I will start first on my left, and then we will go around that way. So Pamela, I'll start with you.
Absolutely. Again, my name is Pamela Grisham. I started advocating many, many years ago, and so it has been such a pleasure to join 9 to 5 to advocate and be an activist to make sure women such as myself that look like myself and think like myself, to make sure that our voices are heard. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have
Lizzie has
Hi everyone. Yeah, it's nice to meet you all. And yeah, my name is Lizzie, and I use she/her pronouns. So I got into involved with 9 to 5 because I also care about the issues like the women of color are suffering, like childcare, paid leave, equal pay. So I care about these issues, so that's how I got into this space. Thank you.
All right. And Ms. Gloria, since you have the mic, I'll just go ahead and start here and we'll pass it.
My name is Gloria Hayes, and I've been doing canvassing for 9 to 5 for a couple of years. And I, too, am excited about the issues. I love the fact that they're working to help women better themselves and be in a better position in the country.
Hi, my name is Denise King, and I'm been with 9 to 5 for maybe a couple of years as well. And I'm always, excited about what 9 to 5 stand for and helping women with equal pay because it is so important in childcare. So those are my passions as well. And so thanks for being part of such a great team.
And hello, everybody. My name is Aaliyah Chapman. I am a previous Spring 2022 Community Justice Fellow with 9 to 5. I believe that my passion for advocacy originated when I entered college, my college career. I believe that the issue of pay equity was very enlightening for me throughout that journey, and it made me want to advocate for all women like me, especially younger women who don't yet have that developed voice, to pave the way for them in pay equity and to be that voice for them and to help with these issues. So, yes.
Thank you so much, ladies. Listen, we're going to jump right into it, okay? Now, I don't want any one of you to be shy because I know each and every one of you, and you're not shy. So we're gonna spice it up. Make sure that you speak a little loud since we have some of you all have the mask on so we can be able to hear you. But earlier, Micah, during the introduction, talked about some of the poll results that Black women and women of color do not feel as if their voice is being heard. And we are at a very crucial time in this election. I would like to get your thoughts about basically what is your opinion as a woman of color in terms of the results that have you seen regarding issues that you care about? Have you felt that your voice has not been heard at the voting poll, or have you been satisfied with your voice being heard at the voting poll? And Aaliyah, I would like to start with you since you have the mic.
Okay. Well, I feel as if Black women, especially, but women in general, are such a vulnerable community. And I do believe that we oftentimes are overlooked when it comes to certain laws that are passed and policies that are passed. And honestly, I'm not surprised by the results because I feel the same way. I can resonate with them, especially with the recent abortion ban and the laws that have changed in terms of that. I feel like women feel misunderstood. I feel like women feel left out and they don't feel accepted within the laws, but also just basic human rights. We don't feel those. So I'll say that for me, but I'll pass it.
Would anyone else like to comment, add a comment on that?
Yeah, I would
Lisi.
like, yeah. So I would like to add some with her points. Yes, I also feel that the politicians don't understand the people's mind, especially for women of color, because as she mentioned about the recent abortion ban, I was working with Amplify Georgia, and during my several conversations with the community members, they also feel the same. They feel very frustrated. They feel left out because of this decision overturning the Roe v. Wade. And another thing is that recently I was involved with 9 to 5 CJFP, Community Justice Fellowship Program. So our main issue was paid leave. So during that time, we also see that the people, especially women of color, are left behind for the rest of the communities, the rest of the women groups. So that's why I feel that the result of this survey is realistic and that actually speaks our mind as well.
Anyone else would like to comment before I move on to my next question to just piggyback off of that? Ms. Denise?
Yes, I would like to piggyback on that because I feel that, you know, as a woman of color and being a Black woman, I always viewed it as, people always view Black women as being strong, and that we can, you know, take the pain or the, you know, the indifference different from any other race. And I think that we've always, even with the abortion bill and even with the, you know, getting the right health care in place and being able to see the doctor on time, they always felt like that Black women were strong, that we could take pain and we could deal with all the obstacles in difference than any other race. And that's why they viewed us less than.
Pamela, would you like to add anything to that comment?
Absolutely, sure. Just to add to that, Lisi said that they don't understand. And I just like to add to that, that they don't understand, they don't care, and they're not compassionate. And so we need people in place that are going to be compassionate and actually listening to what the women want, in order to get the things that we need to make sure that we have the proper health care, especially mental health care. Like, that's one of my biggest concerns. And so to make sure that we get the things that we need, like, I truly think that we need people that are compassionate, and for all of us. Thank you.
Well, and I'm going to direct this question to you, Ms. Gloria, because for a number of years you have been very active in working elections. You've been active in getting people to vote as a canvasser, and you have a wealth of wisdom, okay? And so over the years, the representation of Black women and women of color in politics has been, I mean, more than it's ever been before. What is your take on that we have a woman of color in the White House, a woman of color sitting on the Supreme Court now, but yet and still, Black women are not being heard regarding the things for their families as well as within their community?
Well, I said we are still being put on the, even though we've exceeded and gotten to the White House, we're still not looked upon as women. We're still looked upon as Black women. We're still, they pigeonhole us in different areas. So I know we've exceeded a lot, but we have so many issues ourselves. We need to, I guess we need to learn how to be, I have a wealth of knowledge, but I can't get it out right now. But we have, we just need to get together a little bit more. I think one of the things is that we need to support each other. I hear people always talking about the vice president of the Black women. And to me, we need to support each other in positions 100%. And I think that's one of the issues that we have. We put people there, but we put them down too. We don't lift them up like we should. I imagine that's not what you want to hear, but
no, I mean we want to hear your opinion and your experience and your wisdom. And with that, as a nation, even as a community, right? How do we begin to change the narrative that Black women are human? Black women have needs. Black women care about their families. Black women care about equal pay. Black women care about violence in their community. They care about criminal justice. How do we begin to change that narrative? I know we have an election coming up, but how do we change that narrative as a people, as a nation, and just within our community? Ms. Denise, do you have any thoughts on that? And then we'll go to Aaliyah.
Yes, my feelings and my thought on it is, my take is that as though we mobilized ourselves in 2000 when we, as Black women, mobilized ourselves to get out to vote, and we changed the state of Georgia. And I think that what we need to do as a whole, mobilize ourselves as Black women and do it again. We mobilized ourselves to get vice president in office and several positions of representations in the state of Georgia, like Nikema Williams, and all of those people that that was mobilized out there to make a difference. And I think that's where we're gonna have to, that's where we stand at. Coming together, as Ms. Gloria stated, coming together as Black women and mobilizing ourselves and get out here and let them know that, as Jewel stated, we are human. We hurt, we have pain. We're carrying our families on our backs every day, and we're overbearing, and we need to let them know that we're human and we need that support.
Thank you. Aaliyah?
Yes, I 100% agree. I know I'm very recent in the field of advocating. However, when I speak to women Black women especially, who have advocated within this industry for a while, they're very exhausted, they're very tired. However, they make sure to keep the fight going because they know in the long run, change will come. And I think making sure that we remain in the forefront of advocating, that we remain present in every election, just in all forms, I think that is how we change the narrative or begin to change the narrative, because I do think it'll always be a consistent fight. I'm not sure if it will ever be a moment where it's just the narrative is completely overturned. However, the more we stay active, the more we keep our voice heard, the more we share our stories, the more we band together, the more we uplift each other, I think that will help tremendously.
And I think one of the things that in doing this work that we get frustrated in is the fact that why do we have to keep doing this work, right? Yes. Why do we have to keep fighting? And every generation continues to fight. They take up the mantle from what the previous generation, what they've done. But that is what democracy is all about. We are constantly fighting for our democracy. We're constantly fighting, even now in this election, we're fighting for our democracy. Pamela and Lisi, I want to turn to you and ask you, as Ms. Denise said, talked about mobilizing, and we know that Black women know how to mobilize, right? I mean, in 2020, the media told it that, Black women are the key players in getting record numbers, right? So in the mobilizing, how do we, well, see, it says, look, this is Fireside Chat, so it may be somebody calling right now trying to get that answer, but y'all stay tuned because you'll be able to ask your question in Zoom. You don't have to call Ms. Pamela. She's about to give you the answer soon after we finish this discussion, okay? So hold on, and she'll answer that. But I want to, while Ms. Pamela takes care of that, Lisa, if you can address how can we make our legislators accountable in the midst of our mobilization as women of color?
Thank you for the question. Yeah, so when she mentioned about the mobilizing, and what I was thinking that sharing more of our story in front of that legislators in the legislative session, I think, because one thing I also believe that they are also human. So if we hear us from more often, I think that would be another thing for their sensitization. But for hold them accountable, I think the voters, because what the legislators care about most are the vote, their reputation, and also some of them care about the money because they need them during the election, during the re-election. So if we can, I mean, it is a process. It's not that you can just go and, say them and they will change overnight, but it's a process, systemic process. So as I mentioned that they care about vote. So if the voters ask them, because the legislators come back to the voters anyway. So that's how the voters can make them accountable, because if they ask for vote, they can ask, why don't you do these things or do this, that? So that's how, this is the one thing. Another thing is that the corporations and the donors that funds those legislators, we can, make liaison, make association with that kind of parties, so that because the legislators also take money from them for their voting or other election stuff. So I think that's how, if we work in all, from all angles, I think that's how we can make them accountable.
And Pamela?
Yes.
Talking to your mic so
Yes,
they can
just
hear you
to-
out in Zoom world.
Absolutely. In Zoom world. Yes, I agree with all of you guys said. And just making sure we carry this fireside conversation out in our communities, at work, at your job, with your siblings or family members. Just making sure we continue to carry the conversation on. And most importantly, making sure we get out and vote. Making sure we get out and vote. Set up meetings with legislators. Like that was something that I was really amazed about, that I was actually able to go down to the Capitol and go to Washington and set up meetings to talk about, like, this is what I want in my community. This is what we need in our community. And then keep sharing our stories. So I say just continue having those conversations, continue having these stories, and encourage others to use their voices.
And speaking of using their voices, a lot of times there's a lot of empathy right now. Again, as Michael referred to some of the poll numbers, that a lot of black women feeling as if their voice not being heard, right? A lot of people feeling like, why should I vote? It doesn't matter. I want to address this to Ms. Gloria and Ms. Denise, especially since you all worked a number of years at the election polls and also do canvassing, with 9 to 5 and years of canvassing that you all have done in terms of getting people registered to vote. How do you address folks in the community and during this climate that feel like, listen, you heard what the poll said about how we're feeling like, so why should I get out and vote? Or this political candidate, the polls say that they're likely to win, so why would my one vote count? Where is the power in that? I would like for you, for starting with you, Ms. Denise, to be able to address some of that, and then pass the mic to Ms. Gloria, please.
Yes, Jewel. We encounter our people making those decisions, saying that, I'm out here and I vote and it doesn't matter because I don't see any changes. So when we're out there canvassing, when we're out there talking to these potential voters, we have to really explain to them that there's people that died to make this happen for you, gave you that right to vote. And always remember, you can always hold your elected officials accountable. That means you can go and knock on their doors. It's not as simple. You really have to go through the due process of emailing them, but you have that right. That right belongs to you if you put a person in office. So what we tell people, that stand on your issues, and if the person is not doing what you feel that they're not, they campaign for, then let them know that you campaign for, advocate for something in my community, and I don't see any changes in my community, and I want to hold you accountable for it. And 9 times out of 10, they're going to come back and they're going to listen at you because they want your vote the next time. So they're going to listen. So don't ever let them feel that, it doesn't matter, because it does matter. That's what we out there each and every day, that's what we tell the voters. It matters. And we have years of experience dealing with this. And right now, what we're seeing out there, people are discouraged because they feel that their voices are not being heard. And we see it every day. It doesn't matter, because they're going to do what they want to do. But we must get to these people and let them know that changes will happen if we hold these elected officials accountable.
Thank you, Ms. Denise. Ms. Gloria?
Yeah, one of the issues that we have as canvassers is young people. I was listening to the preacher the other day, and he was saying that we're going to have to do a TikTok video or get on Facebook and start dancing and singing these, you got to get out and vote, and you've got to realize that it's going to affect you, not just me. And he was trying to be funny, but it's true. The young people we encounter, they're so discouraged. They're not, they have so many issues that they have to face. A lot of things that we didn't have to face when we were coming up. And so we need to do something different for them than we're doing now. We reach them, but it's hard. we have a difficult time trying to get young people to listen. We have to spend a lot of time with them, and we have to tell them the history like they don't already know. And then we have to bring them up into how it's going to affect them if they don't vote. And so we need to re-strategize, I guess, on how to reach young people and in an easier and a more effective way.
Yeah, I think too that even with the turn of Roe versus Wade, that a lot of young people, I mean, all people saw that, hey, this isn't guaranteed. Like, we have to continue to fight for it. And I just want to throw out the question, this is a rhetorical question. So whether you're old or you young and you've never voted before, or you voted ever since you've been 18, the question is, why would anyone want to steal something from you that was not important? Why would anyone want to steal something that was not of value? A thief doesn't come for something that is not of value, right? So the fact that to have be complacent regarding voting, oh, my vote doesn't count, and to have that message continually go out among people, especially people in our community and young people and people of color, it gives this idea that, well, it doesn't really matter, but the vote is so powerful. Pamela and Lisi, what you all said about being able to contact your legislator, to be able to go to them, to be able to do writing campaigns, to be, as you said, Ms. Denise, to be able to talk to them and say, hey, you're not representing my community the way that you should. So, as you mentioned, Ms. Gloria, about using the TikTok, being able to talk more a little bit about the history. Aaliyah, can you give some examples or some ideas that you have in terms of ways that you continue to encourage folks to let them know that the advocacy work and voting is important, even in this climate that we're living in right now?
I definitely try to continue to have the conversations. I think with the younger community, I think they tend to listen more when the conversation begins lighter. I think sometimes they may be overwhelmed by the heavy energy of what's actually going on. And although it is reality, I think it's easier to turn a blind eye when it's overwhelming than when it's lightly brought into play and then discussed more to build up, the urgency of the issue. And so I do agree with creative ways because I think that's what helps draw in younger communities. Just through certain events, I actually just recently went to an event where it was like a crystal singing bowl class, and they had a community justice leader come in, younger. I think they were around like 25, and they spoke to a younger crowd about the importance of justice reform in our community and the importance of certain issues. And then it was more so a creative space for people to have their aura photography, just certain activities that'll draw in the younger crowd, but also have people to come in and speak and to highlight the issues. Preferably, I guess, someone within a certain race so that they can feel more connected, I guess so. But yes, that's what I get.
Aaliyah, I want to have a follow-up question with that. Do you think it's important, or how important is having celebrities address voting when it comes to talking to young people? Is it, and I know you can't speak for, for all the young people, but how important are those, or is it at all? Like, it's like, oh, okay, well, Cardi B said I need to get out and vote, so I need to get out and vote. You know what I'm saying? So it is how important is that?
I do believe celebrities have an impact on how the young community stays involved. However, from my experience, I feel as if the young community that I've interacted with likes a more personable type of feel, because it's easy to just click a link and type your name and say you support it. It's easy to repost something, but to actually be active in it, I think you need that personable message. You need that person that'll come to you and speak to you and really resonate with you, to feel that connection. I think is what draws the younger community in the most. So I think it is not as big as celebrities. I don't think it's necessary. I just think people who are younger advocates constantly becoming more and more active with the young community and trying to get them to be more active and proactive in the fight. I think that's what matters the most, in my opinion.
Thank you for that. Anyone else would like to comment?
I'm sure I'd like to add, even for myself, like I bring, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
and this mic.
The mask and the mic.
Yes, the mask and the mic. So for myself, I bring my girls around, and when I started officially being an advocate, my girls were like 4 and 6, and so they come to meetings with me, we march together. So I am teaching them young, and I teach them to have little conversations with your friends, so that they'll know. So this is something that will be embedded in them that they will never forget. And so when we're traveling, they travel with me. So when we're traveling, I explain to them, this is why we're doing this. I am doing this for us, for our families, for you. I am paving the way for you. So I definitely say, start them out young, and I'm just teaching them everything that I know. So I definitely appreciate organizations like 9 to 5.
I think you make a really good point there, because it makes a difference when children are involved in civic engagement early on. We've had 9 to 5 events, and we've had staff bring their children, recently, National Voter Registration Day, out to be a part of it. And it makes a difference, because they always feel a part of being in the community and connected. And that's also another way to engage the community and to bring people together. Plan a vote. We're talking about the Fireside chat, but then there's a kitchen table chat that everybody can have at their table about what issues are we facing as a family. How are we going to change that? What are we going to do on election day? Are we going to go and vote early as a family? Okay, well, who needs to call Grandma and Nana and Papa and and Uncle Billy and Aunt Sarah and get them all involved? And then guess what? Maybe we all go to Golden Corral, and that's what we do. So you sometimes it's not just the fireside chat that we're having here, but it's the kitchen table chats that we also need to start, that will spread out to the community. Like you mentioned, Pamela, your daughters, to being able to talk to their friends about that. I want to do even a round table just to ask you all, what are 2 or 3 issues that are you personally concerned with, issues that you would like, regarding this election that concern you? And I'll start with Lisi, because and then I'll go to Aaliyah. Okay.
Yeah, thank you. For me, the most crucial issue would be the price hike, because everybody feels it. Everybody sees it when they go for grocery. Gas prices high, grocery high, everything. So I think for this year's election, that would be the most crucial issue. And another thing is, we already talked about that abortion bans after the Roe v. Wade was overturned. I think that is also because when that was overturned, all Georgians, I would say all Georgians fired up, because in one of the surveys, I found that more than 70% Georgians support abortion rights. So I think it's in people's minds. So I think when they will go for vote, they will think about it.
Aaliyah?
For me, I would definitely say cost of living. I feel as if a lot of people that I know within my community, like my age range as well, a lot of us are living above our means, and we're fighting to withstand like a certain quality of life, with the price hikes and just the cost of living, rent in Georgia. It's a huge issue. It is a very big problem for everyone. And I will also say women's health as well. I am uncertain of the progression of women's health in terms of legislation, and I am quite fearful because I don't know where we're going after this. And I hope we go into the right direction and change what has been done. But I think it all determines which legislators we get in office, who we vote for. The turnout is going to play a very crucial role in how women's health is going to play out in the next few years. So, yes.
Ms. Denise?
Yes, I have some of the same concerns that you all have, especially with the rate hike in food costs, but also the mental health and health care. If we don't see it every day, that mental health is an issue, and it's becoming an issue with women. I just learned about an incident of a black woman that committed suicide last week because she could not afford to take care of her kids. She was unemployed, didn't see her way out. It was devastating in South Georgia. And I'm telling you, if we don't look at universal health care and affordable health care, which is a passion for me, because I have so many people that are uninsured. And if we don't do something about the mental health and the uninsured, and then we look at that Georgia and Atlanta closing hospital facilities when we need it, because there's people walking with mental health issues that need services. And if we close in hospitals and we don't have universal health care, what are these people going to do? So I'm passionate for that. Yes, we have the abortion bill that passed. That's affecting women. But if you don't see that it's affecting women that's uninsured, and we fight every day for child care, equal pay, but there's people out there that can't find jobs in the rural. Let's look at that, not just in Atlanta and the metropolitan area, but what about in the rural, when those ladies have 3 or 4 kids and can't find work? And these are the things that are happening. That's my passion.
I will go to Pamela and then to Ms. Gloria.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ms. Denise. And so I have a few, and one of my issues is mental health as well, which is one of the things that has inspired me to start my own organization, which is rooted in my belly, to making sure that individuals are getting the support and the tools and resources that they need at free or affordable rate, because mental health is real, and it runs in the Black community. And so that hurts me to even hear that story, and to know that an individual would feel that way, to be able to just give up. And so one of my other things is education. I would like to be able to live in a community, in a good community, and not have to rely on what they call the lottery. So I homeschool one kid, and then the other one goes to a really great school. But I would love for both of my kids to be at the same school. My other concern is affordable housing. Like, I think we should all be able to live in a nice place, a comfortable home, and be able to afford our bills, to be able to afford the rent or the mortgage, or to have what they call the American dream, to be able to purchase your home and to be able to stay in your home. And to make sure the homes that are built, I just learned something in another workshop I went to making sure the homes that are built that are suitable for African American people. And so once again, to make sure the people that we are working with are compassionate and understanding the things that we want and need in our community. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Pamela. Ms. Gloria.
One of my biggest passions is education. Our kids need a little bit more a hands-on education, I think, now than they did in the past. We register kids who have graduated from high school and cannot read. That's unacceptable. We need to make sure that our kids are getting a good education. And gun violence. Those are two of the things that I'm really concerned about, and hope we work on those.
And thank you all for that, for actually sharing your personal concerns, your issues that you're looking at in this upcoming election. And it's just this vicious cycle among women of color in particular, right? So if you don't have the job to get the equal pay, and then you don't have the child care to be able to you don't have any paid leave, so if you do have a baby, or you do have to care for, if you're in the sandwich generation and you have to care for a baby as well as your parent, right? It just becomes this vicious circle, because the thousands of dollars that black women lose by not having equal pay and having to fight for that, to be able to have affordable housing, to be able to have a job that has great benefits so that you can have the insurance, the reproductive health, the mental health care, all of those things. Sometimes there's so many campaigns that, not like so many, but the campaigns that we work on here at 9 to 5, and I do know from canvassing and being out in the community, I'm just curious, because I don't like to just leave everything on such a heavy, right? I want to know what has been some of the victories that you think this election will bring, that you're hoping for, that this election will bring, right? So I just want to flip the script, that even though we have a lot of things going against us, so it's a two-part question. One, how do you stay encouraged with all of those things coming against us? And then, what are you looking forward to in terms of change in this upcoming election? And I'll start with, come on in. That's why it's called Fireside Chat, baby. Jump on in. That's what we do. Come on, Miss Pamela.
Absolutely. Like, I'm all fired up now. I would say, just to go back to, I went to a workshop, an event last night, and so one of the wins that I didn't even know about, shame on me, is that the Medicaid, I think it happened August 6th, is that they extended it. I think that's the proper word, but they extended the, the Medicaid for women that have maternity leave. So maternity leave is 6 months.
6 months.
So that was
12 months.
6 to 12. Okay, so I was
Expanded.
expanded. Yes,
Expanded,
thank you. So I was glad to see that, to hear that last night. And then for me, I really hope that I'm looking forward to affordable housing. A lot of people that I talk to have either lost their home, or they're staying in hotels because they're tearing down these apartments, so they're living in hotels, and you got 4 and 5 kids in a 1-bedroom hotel. And so I'm really looking forward to seeing affordable housing. So that's a win that I'm looking for.
Okay, and Ms. Denise, I'll start with you since you have the mic.
And I totally agree with affordable housing, because our homeless population in the city of Atlanta, and I can speak on that because I'm in the city of Atlanta, the homeless population and people migrating here for a better life, and they're finding themselves on the streets of Atlanta in homeless situations. And as Pam stated, the hotels are inundated with families that are just, destitute out here. They don't know the end, where they're going to go, and they're living in these hotels. But until we, and really, I don't see as many affordable housing, because right now, they revitalizing so many communities that the prices are so high that they're not going to be affordable until they come up with something in housing that units that's going to be affordable. We're just really just spinning our wheels, because we see it every day. And I don't know if we're going to be able to take care of this in this election, but something has to be done with our homeless population instead of just sweeping it under the bridges and putting boulders under the bridges to keep them from living under them. Let's get these people affordable housing. Let's let the seniors live the rest of their lives and stop gerrymandering them and getting us out of our homes and raising the prices of property taxes. Let's do something about that in this election, not tomorrow, not the next 10 years. I'm saying as of this election. Let's put someone in that's going to do something about that.
Absolutely.
Well, y'all felt that fire, didn't y'all? I know y'all felt it in Zoom world. Okay, go ahead, Aaliyah.
I would definitely say something I'm looking forward to is populating mental health services in all communities. I think it is such a big challenge with all age groups, everyone, every race. It's just, mental health is so powerful. The mind is so powerful. And I think a lot of these issues that we face are so intertwined, and there has to be a stable ground somewhere. And I think the mind is somewhere we can try to provide services so people can understand why it is so important to have a good mental well-being, and trying to spread practices so that we can not just pay for services, but be able to know how to best take care of ourselves in these times, these troubling times. So that's something I'm looking forward to.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, along with their issues, I also think that there might be, I hope that there should be a legislation that would allow us for the paid leave, because I also personally feel that it is so important for women, especially for the working women, because it also tied to their health as well, their physical, their mental health as well, because on the one hand they are not getting the equal pay, and on the other they are not getting paid leave, so they don't have enough time to take care of themselves, their families, their children. So I think for me that would be a great victory for women, especially for women of color. So because it is not a single issue, it is tied to other issues as well.
Yes, definitely. I mean, and I know for me personally, one of the things that I am excited, that keeps me encouraged, is that when I think about organizations like 9 to 5, and I think about the women behind them, the community that we have behind this organization and others like our organization that continue the fight, even though we may be tired, even though like we get weary, but it is the fact that we have women like you all in the community that really continue to uplift us, continue to push us. The leadership that we have at 9 to 5, as well as some other all grassroots women organizations that I know, the leadership is outstanding, and they continue to fight even in the midst of the distractions and in the midst of the disappointments. Before we go, I just want to laugh and check time. How are we doing on? Okay, we got 15 more minutes. All right. And so I just want to encourage everyone out there in Zoom world, get your questions together because we will be answering your questions for anyone on this panel. So if you have questions, please get them together. We have a team of wonderful people that are going to make sure that those questions get addressed and they will be able to talk to our wonderful panel. As we talk about encouragement and moving forward, I would like to know, and I'll start with you, Ms. Gloria. What were some of the things, especially, like I said, I respect your years of working with elections, getting folks registered, your years of wisdom as an elder, a mother on this earth, right? I would like to know from you, how did you get inspired in terms of really doing this work and being out in the community, educating folks? And if you all don't, let me just tell you, I know Miss Gloria personally. I've known her for a long time. Miss Gloria and Miss Denise, in terms of canvassers, they are hustlers. All right, Miss Gloria is a hustler. Okay, and when I say hustler, I mean be not afraid to get out, talk to the community, get folks registered, tell them about the importance. So I really want to kind of take a different direction and get a bit of inspiration, because it may be someone that's sitting out there that may feel like, I don't have the time, or I don't think that I can do that, or I don't know how, I want to get involved, but I don't know how to get involved. We're going to tell you how to do that later on. I just want to let you all know, so stay tuned. We'll tell you how to get involved, definitely with 9 to 5. But we're going to get some of these inspirational stories from our panelists, how they first got involved. Miss Gloria?
Well, I had a mother and father who pushed us, made us register at 18. We had no choice back in the day. You did exactly what your parents said. So at 18 years old, we registered to vote, and we had to do something besides just register. We had to either go feed the homeless. We had to, my daughter volunteered at the Red Cross. We had to do something in the community, something to help somebody. And my dad owned a restaurant all those years, and we used to have people come in. We would give them discounts on food, or maybe buy groceries for somebody. But we had to always do something besides just vote. And we had to always vote one party. That was a must. But it was just being encouraged by other people, other family. Everybody I knew was registered to vote. I grew up, I don't think I even know anybody now that's not registered to vote. So.
And you've had a lot to do with that. I might add, you've had a lot to do with that. You are not gonna be an unregistered voter around Miss Gloria or Miss Denise. Okay, but yes.
Yeah, that's true. We're gonna make sure that you are registered to vote and that you get out and vote. My kids, my grandkids, everybody is registered to vote. Everybody that I know, like I said, is registered to vote, and it's so important because. Not only because people work so hard to get the vote, but because people are still working hard. We're out here canvassing, and we're working hard every day trying to get people to register. And they do realize, the ones who are registered realize how important it is. And I appreciate 9 to 5 because people, like the women that work at 9 to 5, they are so important to the black community because they are truly trying to do the right things. They're trying to make a difference, and what they do is so important because reaching out is hard sometimes to do. But when you reach out to somebody and they grab your hand and follow, they'll follow you and do the right things. But sometimes people just need you to reach out to them. And that's what they do at 9 to 5. And so I'm glad I worked there.
Thank you, Miss Gloria. Thank you. Thank you for that. Ms. Denise, how do you encourage folks that have never voted to come to the polls to vote? Because as a canvasser, sometimes, as you all mentioned, we do have individuals that kind of protest, like, no, they like, I don't want to sign up, I don't want to be a registered voter, right? And then you discover that they may be illiterate. I want you to address folks who have never voted before. What should they do when they come to the polls? It was hard enough maybe to get them to register, or they might need help to fill out their voter registration form. And then there may be some shame coming to the polling place and not knowing what to do. How do you address that?
Well, in the past, working in the election for so many years, I, as a poll manager, I would always know, you could tell when someone is unsure. It's either the reluctance of going to the ballot, or it's taking their time trying to, just decipher it and understand it. So we, as poll managers, we can see that, and we would just always make certain that if they didn't bring anyone with them, then, you can't tell them, who to vote for or can't assist them unless they want you to assist them. And then it has to be documented that you assisted someone. But my take on it is that there's so many times that people we meet out in the field and they are just really adamant that they're just not going to vote. And we're learning that a lot of times it's because of some stigmatism that they are going through with can't read, or there might be some issues that they have felons. And a lot of time we meet people out there and they'll say, I'm not interested in that. And then they'll walk away and they'll say, well, maybe I'm on papers. And I said, okay, but let me let you know that once you finish your obligations to the state of Georgia or whatever state you're in, your rights will be awarded back to you. So we give them that literature. And then you see them perk up. And we registered people that were told, and Ms. Gloria can witness to this, we registered people that were told that they could never vote because even though they weren't on papers, somewhere someone instilled in them that they was never going to be eligible because they had a felon. But everything was taken care of. This guy literally called his mother on the phone. Ms. Gloria witnessed to that. And he had his mother on the phone. He said, they said I could vote. Man, mommy, I can vote. And this man was he was 40 years old, I know. And we made it happen for him. He registered, his mother said, kudos to you. So the work we do out here with 9 to 5 and our experience is far more greater than anything I could ever feel in my heart, because I look at all the people that we run up on out here and they tell us, thank you for what you're doing. When they see that 9 to 5 shirt on, they are registered voters, they kudos us all day. Thank you guys for what you're doing. Thank your organization for what you all stand for. And they read our shirts, and they kudos us. And that makes us feel great. And we stick our chest out because we are with 9 to 5. We're with an organization. We have someone that stands with us, not just behind us, but with us. So that's what our work does for us, make us feel great.
Go ahead, Ms. Gloria. Did you want to? I know. We're going to wrap. Do we have any Zoom questions that we need to prepare for? Okay. And we're going to continue on this positive note because I'm glad that you brought up being off paper. Listen, even though we want to be able to discuss, because there are the issues of Black women that are incarcerated as well as the men, right?
Agreed.
And so. But we not only want to give folks the polls of how women of color feel, we want to give them ways that they can get involved. We want to tell them how they can be encouraged. We want to let them know that as long as we are breathing, as long as we are breathing and we have a right to exercise our voice at the polls, that we are going to the polls and we are not going to stop fighting. So I want to close out on and continue this round robin right now with just a positive note that you want to give a message to folks. We have about 3 minutes, so I want to make sure that I get to everybody. And, you know, you can share like something, an encouraging story or just any encouraging words you want to give to folks regarding this upcoming election.
Absolutely.
Yes, Pamela.
Okay, thank you so
ma'am.
much.
Go ahead.
Get out and vote. As Jill said earlier, take your parents, your sister, your siblings, like everybody, do it as a team. We get together as girlfriends and we go to dinner, and then go out, get out. Well, go vote first and then go to dinner. But get out and vote and do your research. If you're a little hesitant and you're uncomfortable, do your research on the people. That was definitely something I had to learn. It wasn't just because my mom said go vote for that person. I actually did my research on the people, and I still do. And again, I teach my children. So making sure that you get out to vote. If you don't have a ride, reach out to some of these organizations. Like, they are making it happen to making sure that there are rides to the poll. It's a whole slogan for it, to making sure you vote and making sure that you're telling everyone about it. So go vote.
All right, thank you. I know we're winding down, or we got like 1 minute left, but Lisa,
Yeah.
I want to get to you, and Aaliyah, I want to get to you. You can close this out real quick.
Yeah, just a 1 minute last thing, that you might think that it doesn't matter, but I would say go out and vote. It's matter.
And I just want to say that change can and will come if we stay active, if we stay proactive in the fight, if we vote, if we stay informed, if we stay educated. We can make change. It starts with us. The voters are the foundation, and we can make it happen. So, yes.
Awesome. You all were so wonderful. And I mean, just kind of give yourselves a hand. I give you a hand. Out there in Zoom world, they give you a hand. The information that you all provided, the personal experience, the encouragement that you gave us was absolutely wonderful. And you all don't go anywhere, because when we're going to shift our attention to Marie, who has been working hard creating her masterpiece from this fireside discussion. And when we come back, we'll take a look at that masterpiece. So just hold on, and we're going to tell you some great ways that you can get involved with 9 to 5 and have your voice heard. And we are back with the artist Marie Dole. And we are here to see this masterpiece she created on the fly in the midst of the fireside chat. Marie, tell us about this masterpiece that you created while we were talking.
Sure. So I really was just trying to react to what was going on. I did just like a sketch of everybody talking. It's really more of a sketch, guys. But also, just tried to put up what everybody was saying, and I tried to make the words that are bigger are the ones that were mentioned lots of times, and so I think the biggest ones are abortion rights, equal pay, voting. One that I really liked was conversation with your friends, accessible healthcare, mental health care, education. Just to if the walls could talk, kind of thing.
And I mean, and his masterpiece might be if 9 to 5, if the walls could talk, because I mean, you literally have the pieces of the conversation in there. You know, the strength of women, mental health care, and community support. You know, I see all of this, and I'm telling you, I wish that you all were here to actually see how detailed this painting is. Marie, this is beautiful, and that you were able to do that in that amount of time and capture the woman. I see my big hair down there too, at the bottom. But this is absolutely, just absolutely amazing. What were you feeling as you were painting this and hearing the discussion?
Really touched, honestly. I think the biggest thing that stuck with me was like, why are these things we are fighting for? Like why do we still have to fight? And it's women like you all who remind me every day, just keep fighting. So, yeah.
And the fireside discussion actually is a form of art. And you took our art form of conversation, our art form of 9 to 5, the campaigns. You took our art form of the heartfelt things, and you literally put it in this artistic masterpiece. And I cannot thank you enough for being a part of 9 to 5 in this fireside discussion and sharing your artwork and sharing your voice with us as an organization and with everyone else. I mean, this is absolutely beautiful, and I just really want to thank you so much for you lending your voice to this masterpiece, really. Is there anything else that you would like to add just about any other upcoming things that you're doing, or just about this masterpiece in itself before we close out? Because I want to make sure that I give you the floor.
No, I just want to say thank you. I mean, this is just a reflection of the work that you all are doing, so the beauty would not exist without you all.
Thank you. We mirror each other, my sister. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Can you all get this? This is beautiful.
Yay.
An amazing night. I hope that you really felt all of the inspiring words of conversation that Black women, women of color have had to express tonight. Everything from the conversation to the beautiful masterpiece of work by Marie Dahl. Again, I want to thank all the panelists that came out to be a part of this conversation, all of the staff at 9 to 5. But I want to thank you for joining us. And listen, if you want to get involved with 9 to 5, first of all, take the pledge to vote, okay? You all heard me say your voice matters during every election cycle. And this is how we make that change and win together. Click on the link that you see. Yes, that link right there. Click on that link and take the pledge to vote. If you are a registered voter, this is saying that, hey, I'm going to take that pledge to be on election day, or vote early, or vote via absentee. Also, join one of the 9 to 5 campaigns working to address the needs of women and families in Georgia. Join us in our fight for affordable and accessible child care in Georgia, and there's a link in the chat in which you can join us. Also, we have a campaign to win worker protections in Georgia to ensure that no one is discriminated against or harassed at work. So the link to join the Respect Georgia Workers Alliance is being put in the chat right now. And lastly, we want to invite you all to join the campaign to win paid leave for all workers in Georgia so that no one has to choose between taking care of themselves or their families and their paychecks. So join the paid leave fight. We also have a link for that. I am Jewel Howard, Civic Engagement Manager with 9 to 5. It has been a pleasure emceeing for you all tonight, and I look forward to seeing you on the campaign trails of fighting for injustice and fighting for working women. Have a great evening.